What's poppin', everybody? It's your girl Henny, and I'm back to pour up plenty of them hot shots of the court docs that y'all came here to sip on. So let me go ahead and let me first of all get these locks down for y'all. And let me get positioned because it is the lunch hour. And baby, let me tell you, I have a lot of hot Henny to pour up for y'all, starting with the Enterprise. Baby, I don't know if y'all caught the update that I did give to Uda on Go, but the Enterprise has been established, y'all. Let's get into it. We're going to get into it. But first, before we go off and dip off on our lunch, we're going to try to see if we can catch the family coming out for lunch. So let me go ahead and let me see where I want to post up at because it's not that many people out here anymore. It's fairly empty. If you want me to be honest with y'all, it's fairly empty out here. There are people that are here to try to catch a glimpse of the family. Major news outlets are still here. Of course, your boots on the ground content creators are here as well. And then there are just civilians that are here to try to spectate and kind of, you know, get their shots. So we're gonna catch them coming out, you guys, but we're not going to stay right here. Like I may not follow them all the way to the car. We're gonna see what happens when they come out. But y'all go ahead, go tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Henny is back and she's at it again. All right, so I am sharing it out to some people. Trying to share it out, you guys. I'm trying to share it out because that's something that you guys say that I'm not doing. And you're right. I haven't been sharing things out. I really hate the fact that I'm standing here and there's music behind me. YouTube, I do not own the rights to the music and I have nothing to do with that. That is somebody behind me that is playing the music. Do you guys hear the music or not? Let me know, because if y'all hear the music, we might have to mute until I move. What's up, Veronica Knight? Hey, Nikki. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Hey, Rakitha. So y'all ready for this lunchtime spill? Because baby, what we gonna do is we gonna go get us some lunch. Oh, you can't hear it? Good. I'm glad you can't hear it because y'all know I'll be quick to mute y'all. Sirens come in mute. Music man come in mute. Too much noise in the background. Mute. Y'all can see it's empty behind me. It's empty over there. It's very empty compared to what it was on the days when we had Cassie and Capricorn Clark and everybody testifying. Who's testifying now? We had the security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel who testified. I was a little late to that. I got caught up on things, and baby, I came just in time because, child, that was a mess. And then we have Derek Ferguson, who was here. How you get to go over there? I want to go over there. I can. I'm coming over there. Derek Ferguson, who was the head of Bad Boy. Now y'all hear the music. He was the head of Bad Boy, and he's giving testimony to the businesses and the entities that Diddy was accustomed to. Thank you. Because, I'm little as it is. They just be standing in front of me.
We got a block on point on the side. Yeah, I can handle them. They come to sprinting now. Let's go.
Okay, you guys, that's the Sprinter. This is the Sprinter pulling up right now. That is here to pick them up. I don't see them out here just yet at the door. But when this Sprinter right here pulls up, you see this shiny black Mercedes Sprinter. That means that the Combses are coming out soon. All right. Hey, Lady T. Hey, Ditto. Hey, Chloe. Hey, Xavier. Hey, T. Passport Pookie, what's poppin'? Hey, El Boogie. Hey, Christina.
We ain't doing that yet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Say, let me go to sleep. We back at it.
I know I'm not within my normal time range of when I be outside running and covering this stuff. Hey, Crash Out. Well, look, for everybody who kept saying, I don't see Enterprise. They're showing you Enterprise today. I don't see any portions of racketeering. I don't see none of that stuff. They have been slowly walking us through this case. Here they come. Damn, savage. He's still going to prison. Still going to prison. God damn. Sheesh. All right, you guys. As you can see, things are going down. There's been a lot of things that have gone on with the courts, with between bloggers and content creators and all of that. It's been blogger wars out here outside of the Diddy trial, and let me tell you, some of these content creators are getting themselves into trouble because they don't know how to keep their mouth shut. They're too thirsty for clicks, likes, and views, and they're about to catch it. Like, what the hell?
Yo, do y'all know the name of the guy that's always
Charlucci.
Charlucci.
Charlucci. CHARLUCCI.
Does he work with Puff or anything like that?
Friends for 38 years.
Okay, word.
Uda. All right, you guys. So we're getting ready to head out and head up to go get ourselves something to eat. I'm in the mood for some pizza. Not really, but when in New York, do as, right? So let me tell y'all, as we head up the block, away from the chaos of the courtroom, first and foremost, remember when I was saying to you guys, because some people were coming into the chat and they were telling me, oh yeah, Mia's name is so-and-so. The truth of the matter is I have known Mia's name and I have not referred to her as such at all. But there have been some content creators who have been screaming her name on their channels. And now the judge is looking for them and the judge wants them out the court. And the reason why the judge does not want them in the court is because he ordered everyone in the main courtroom and in the overflow rooms to not disparage the identity of Mia. If we found out who it was, we were not to disclose that information. And that was coming directly from the judge, which makes that a court order. And guess what? The judge wants them gone because Jane Doe is not coming to testify today, from what I understand. I don't know. Y'all know when I start getting information, it's subject to change when it's coming from other people because I don't know what's real. I don't know what people are really telling me that's true. But first I heard that Jane Doe was supposed to testify today, but I know that there was some type of issue with her getting a flight and that she's supposed to be getting on an international flight. So from what I'm understanding today, she's not testifying until tomorrow. But the judge does not want those YouTubers in that courtroom because she's coming in as a Jane Doe, which means she's coming in like Mia did. Ciao. Now, let's talk about Eddie Garcia a little bit. because Eddie Garcia is who was on the stand first this morning. He was a witness for the prosecution, and he was a security guard, just like Israel Flores. He was a security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel when the Diddy and Cassie incident went down. Baby, let me tell you, I could not believe the cross-examination, or lack of cross-examination, I should say, that was done on this man. And how the defense handled this, Brian Steele, for all the Brian Steele fans out there, I was sitting back like, what the hell was that? Because I was expecting him to come in and do his usual 1-2. Brian Steele was in and out of there quicker than a minute man. Do you hear me? He punched the clock and punched back out. As soon as you blinked your eyes, he was done. So we're going to get over here. I'm going to order my food, and then we're going to come outside. And I'm going to tell y'all every little detail, okay? And then I'm going to talk to y'all about the Derek Ferguson guy. So if you're just getting here, oh, we got some Henny to spill, baby. And we about to spill it all. But first, we must eat, okay? Because I'm starving. I have not eaten since early yesterday, okay? I got to eat something. Plus, y'all are going to be like, Henny, did you eat? And I'm going to be like, no. Let's see. I want to try something different today. We're going to try something different. Hi. Can I get a vodka slice and a chicken marsala? I'm going to try the chicken marsala today. See how that goes for us. You guys. So, Israel. Oh, I was. I'm like, why it ain't closed yet? Okay. I'm gonna eat outside. Okay. This, and then I have a Marcella slice and a vodka penne slice, or vodka slice. Hold on, you guys. Card. Damn, hold on. Hold on.
Is that a receipt?
Yes, please. Is this your phone?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. No, you're good. All right, let's go grab a seat outside so I can start spilling up this Henny for y'all. Where we gonna sit? I think we're gonna sit right here. I really don't want to bother anybody, so I guess we're gonna go to the spot in the corner where we were at last week. This is where we're gonna go. And I'm going to update y'all right now. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome back to the bar. The bar is open and we are about to pour up on this day 14 of the Diddy trial. Everything that has happened, who's testified, what are they testifying to, and what are we finally getting to see? Now, I'm going to explain, and people are not going to like when I explain this, but it is the TR Youth Ruth, okay? People who have been saying that they don't see the RICO have not been paying attention from the beginning. Because from the beginning, RICO has been established. The minute that Cassie got up on their stand, they were establishing sex trafficking. They were establishing the fact that she was being held against her will. She was testifying to the 35 predicate acts of a RICO. She was already giving it up. She was turning it loose, okay? I keep feeling like I got to get close to y'all. Y'all can hear me good, right? Please tell me y'all can hear me good. It's hot in New York right now. It's very hot in New York. And because I don't want to disturb anybody that's outside, I'm kind of talking low right now because I don't want to bother those who are out here enjoying the heat and the pizza, because this is some really good pizza. If you guys are in New York by Chinatown, I will tell y'all the name of the pizzeria that I am sitting at. But so, Eddie Garcia. Let me first fill in the blanks for y'all. Okay, y'all can hear good? Okay, good. So we're going to fill in the blanks, and then we're going to get into my notes, honey. We're going to get into my notes because this is the lunch hour update, all right? And today I was writing in purple pen. All right, so let's first start off with filling in the blanks of what was given to you guys. Um, let me bring this down a little bit more. Can't bring it down. Okay, I could do that. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right. So, of course, you know, this morning I was having all types of mishaps and there's also somebody out here that like was bothering some of the male YouTubers. I don't know what the hell was going on with that, but it's been a lot of hoopla, and I think that's what I was being preserved away from, was the hoopla that was going on out here. Yes, David Gordwin, you have been putting that in here. Anybody that wants to go to a free Diddy protest, it is going to be no, leave the pro Diddy people here as long as they're not being disrespectful. David Gordwin, he's fine. He can stay. All he's gonna do is just post about the protest. I just don't want people that are in here being disrespectful. As long as they aren't disrespectful, they can stay. The mentally unstable ones, they can go. All right. Now, let's get into all of this hot henny that and we've got testimony about KK. They got information from off of KK's laptops, you guys. Okay, so Eddie Garcia came into the courtroom. First of all, Diddy is wearing, it looks like some type of copper kind of sweater and tan pants. It's giving very much grandpa-ish, okay? It's very much grandpa-ish. I'm live, baby. Hi, I'm gonna call you back. I'm live, okay? All right. And he's been very much like, I haven't seen him making much movement today, but Eddie got up there on the stand. Eddie stated that during his time that he was there on at the Intercontinental Hotel. Hold on. Oh, thank you. I was gonna come inside. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, hold on. Now, Eddie got a phone call from Christina Courtroom, okay? Look, KK has to come in at some point because her name is coming up too much, all right? So, okay, first it started out with them asking about his mental capacity, and it was clear that he has the mental capacity. Okay, and the government called Eddie Garcia, who was the security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel. Okay, so let's start off here. He was asked if he recognized the individuals who were involved in the incident. He said at first no, but when he looked closer, he noticed that it was Diddy that was there. And so when he was asked why law enforcement was not called, he said that Cassie had requested not to. Like, she didn't want him to call law enforcement and get them involved. Then he said that he received a phone call from Christina Courtroom and that she had called him with a New York area code number, and she asked him for the video. She said that Mr. Combs had been intoxicated and he didn't remember exactly what had happened, but Brian Steele objected at that point in time and asked for a sidebar. Now, let me tell you something. Ever since yesterday, they have been like the sidebar Sallies. Everything is sidebar, objection, sidebar, objection, sidebar. So it's like they're having all of these sidebars, and baby, I got to get the transcripts because guess what? We need to know what's going on at these sidebars, honey, because that's where the tea be, okay? So now, y'all make sure that y'all are double tapping that screen as y'all are listening to this, okay? So he says that at that point in time, KK put him on the phone with Diddy. And so Diddy gets on the phone with him and Diddy asks him, do you know who I am? And so at that point in time, that's when Eddie says, he said yes. And so that Diddy had asked him for the video, and he was explaining to him that he had been intoxicated. And when he was asked how did he sound, Eddie said that he was talking fast and stuttering. He sounded nervous, okay? I would sound nervous too if you got this video of me putting hands, feet, and knee bows on my girlfriend that could possibly go viral and go around and ruin everything that I've got going for myself. You know, brands do not like that when people put their hands on women. It is frowned upon. So all of these joint ventures that he had, baby, they would have backed out. Now let's try this chicken Marcella while we over here pouring up on Diddy. That chicken Marcella slice is delicious. Okay, let's get back to the Henny because we ain't pouring Ciroc. So they entered into exhibits. It was an email, okay? And he's saying that he got an email from management from where he worked at, right? So the email was redacted. And well, actually, no, it showed KK's phone number. And then they asked him if he had gotten more phone calls from KK, and he said yes, from her personal phone number. So at this point, he's getting nervous because they're contacting him. They want this video, all right? Now, his supervisor, a guy by the name of Bill Madrino, I think that's how you say his name, Madrino, he told him that they would give Diddy the video for $50,000. So that's what Eddie was told to tell Diddy. You give us 50 bands, we'll give you the video. And guess what? Garcia called KK. Garcia told KK, listen, we'll turn over the tape. I spoke it over with my people. My people are saying, we'll give it to you for 50 bands, okay? So at this point in time, because Diddy was like, look, see if you could get them to do this. At this point in time, Diddy's like, yes, I knew you could do this. All right, so he went out there and he went to Diddy's home. Now, when he arrived at Diddy's home, hold on, you guys, because I got to flip the page. Hold on. Hold on, baby. Golly. Okay. So now, when he gets to Diddy's condo, security is there, assistants are there. Like, there's other people from Diddy's staff that is there, okay? He says he was given $100,000 and he gave Diddy the only USB that had the video of the incident on there, okay? Now, he said at this point in time, you know, the video had been deleted off of the servers. The next time that he would hear about this video or see this video would be when it went viral, okay? He says prior to that, he had gotten a screenshot from Flores. And he said, you know, like, oh, let me back up. When Diddy gave him the 100 band, he made him sign an NDA. But are y'all ready for this? Y'all probably already heard it, but I'm going to tell y'all anyway. Diddy made this man sign an NDA, but the NDA was on Combs Enterprise letterhead. How are you bribing this money? You're bribing. This is bribery. This is obstruction of justice. And now you have just tied your legitimate business into the enterprise by paying this man in cash $100,000 and making him sign an NDA on Combs Enterprise letterhead. Baby, they showed us the NDA. They showed it to us. So I ain't lying and I ain't flying. It was on Combs Enterprise letterhead. Okay. So he signs the NDA, does all of that. Now he says, Eddie Garcia says that when Israel Flores sent him the screenshot of the video, that he deleted the screenshot and he deleted the messages. So when they asked him, well, why would you delete the screenshot and the messages? He said, because of the NDA I signed. Now I'm going to tell you, this guy had no idea that even with an NDA, when it comes down to criminal matters, when the law comes knocking, you get to talking. That's your get out of jail free card. However, there was a stipulation in that NDA as well. We're going to get to that. So Eddie admits that when he first was approached by law enforcement, that he lied to them. He lied to them. Y'all double tap the screen and get them lights up. Get them lights up. Get them lights up, please. He lied to them because of the NDA. He was scared. But once he got a lawyer and he met with the government for the second time, that's when he started spilling the beans on everything, okay? And that's when he told. So now Brian Steele steps up to the cross, and I'm sitting here like, oh man, Brian Steele, this guy, I don't know. I don't know. When Brian Steele steps up to the podium, he says, he confirms, like when you went into the condo, into Mr. Combs' condo, um, you saw he was there, you saw security was there, you saw his assistants, you saw his staff. And then he says to him, Brian Steele says to him, you received double the money than his boss expected. $100,000. Yes, we had to take a pregnant pause. We had to take a pregnant pause because what did you just say? What did you just say? So now Garcia, he said he had gotten like a good feeling off of Diddy. And so like he had hit Diddy up and he's just like, well, if you have any work, let me know. But Garcia corrected Brian and was like, no, I didn't say any work. I said security work, okay? And of course, everybody busted out laughing when he said that. But he was hitting Diddy up for the, in case he had any work for him. So now Brian still hones in on the NDA, right? And he goes and he highlights the exclusions from non-disclosure and non-use obligations, right? So they're breaking this down and it sounds pretty standard. And, well, actually back up. Brian Steele was asking him, do you understand an NDA? Do you understand what an NDA is? And so it was very clear that he was misinformed. Like a lot of people have been misinformed when it comes down to NDAs. They believe that even when the police come knocking, you can't say nothing or else this person can sue you. But as everybody learned when the R. Kelly case came out, everybody learned that when there's criminal acts that are involved, that NDA goes out the window. Okay? So now, Brian is focusing on the parts that are telling him, like, well, he could have complied if it came down to law enforcement. And the reason why he was doing this is because Eddie was saying, like, I didn't comply because of the NDA. I lied to the police because of the NDA. And so Brian Steele's tactic, in my eyes, was to come in and show that that was bogus. But Eddie showed that he really didn't understand how an NDA worked. And he thought that he was just supposed to keep his mouth closed until he got him a lawyer. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Exactly, Rakitha. Once they come knocking on your door, it doesn't even have to be the feds. It could be the local police. Once they come a knocking, that NDA is dropping. It's stopping, honey. You can run your mouth. What you can't do when you have an NDA, what you cannot do is you cannot come onto like a podcast and start talking about things. You can't go sit down with the local news. You can't do interviews. You can't write books and blogs and all of that stuff. You can't talk about it at all. But when anybody, even if the court subpoenas you to come in, at that point in time, your NDA is null and void at that point, okay? It's null and void. Y'all double tap that screen. Get them likes up, okay? So then he explained to him, that within this, there is a little piece in there that says that he can speak on the NDA, right? But I'm going to read this little part for you right here. Because there was a little part in there that I was sitting there like, let me read that carefully. So I'm going to read it to you. So he says, they were talking about, okay. So the part that he reads says, however, now it talks about all the ways that you can't disclose information or whatever. It says, however, the participant can speak. Basically, if the law enforcement comes, that you could speak to them. But it says, however, that participant provides prompt prior written notice thereof to the company to enable the company to seek a protective order or otherwise prevent the disclosure. Away. Away. First of all, Brian Steele, you got up there and you admitted that this man was paid. You said that this man was paid double than what he expected from Mr. Combs. You said that he was paid $100,000 instead of the $50,000. You also went on to open up the document and use said document to establish that there was an NDA. But in trying to establish that this man may have been lying, trying to plant that seed of doubt, that this man may be lying about not knowing what an NDA is, and that the actual NDA did not tell him to not talk to law enforcement. What you did was opened up the door for redirect. Honey, I feel like Brian Steele was trying to prove that even through the NDA, that it wasn't stopping him from testifying. But when they re-examined him, the government pulled back up that exclusion from non-disclosure, okay? And he was asked what he thought the company to mean. She was like, well, when you read this, to your understanding, what was the company? He said, Combs Enterprise. That's what we were understanding the company to be. I mean, especially when it says Combs Enterprise on the header. Baby, when she put that out there, and he said it was referring to the Combs company, Brian Steele objected. The judge overruled. The AUSA said he opened the door for this, which he did. The judge overruled. Steele asked for a sidebar. They went into a sidebar, and when they came back, it was no further questions for him. Dun, dun, dun. Baby, I tried to run out here. Francis, honey, we ain't even established, and we're not even talking about Brian Steele right now. This ain't a Brian Steele debate. Enterprise established. So for everybody sitting back talking about those are legitimate businesses, there's no way this is not an enterprise. This is how. And I want to just pat myself on the back because I explained this before, how a legitimate business instantly becomes a RICO enterprise. I was explaining this. Nobody wanted to listen to Henny, though. Nobody wanted to listen to Henny. Henny don't know what she's talking about. Now, right after Eddie Garcia gets off of the stand, let me tell y'all who comes up next. Baby, this guy comes on in, Derek Ferguson. Derek Ferguson was the head of Diddy's finances, okay? And he worked for Diddy. Oh, wait, back up. Back up. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. So, after they come back from their little sidebar, the government goes, Your Honor, we have some exhibits that we would like to display before we call the next witness in. So we're all sitting here. I'm like, okay, what's the new exhibits? Come on, girl. They pull up government exhibits from where they seized KK's phones when they did the raids in Miami. They seized her phones at the Miami airport. Remember, I told y'all they seized one of her phones when he got arrested here in New York. But they seized one of her phones at the airport, okay? Guess what was on that phone? Photos of the security guard's driver's license, Eddie's driver's license, one of his co-workers' driver's license, his supervisor's driver's license. KK had the dirt in her phone. And then they showed us where they had an exhibit. And she also had a photograph of the non-disclosure in her phone. Dun, dun, dun. Then they showed us that they had evidence that they seized from KK's laptop that they also got when they seized it. Now, it wasn't under Eddie Angel. She had two people in her phone. She had Eddie Angel, and then she had Eddie the security guard. Those were the two of them. She had both of them. I don't know if both of them were the same person because they didn't say. They did not say if both of them were the same person or not. Now, I will say that. But they also had evidence in her laptop, okay? And evidence that everything that they posted, everything that they showed us in court, it all backed up Eddie Garcia's testimony. Where is KK? Where is KK? Coca, yes. Inner city press, while he's good, he misses a lot of detail. He does. He misses a lot of detail because he's trying to live tweet for you guys, but he misses a lot of detail, okay? Thank you, Francis. Listen, Francis, I just know that when I start to talking about Brian Steele, I know you're gonna come for my neck. So I got to protect my neck when I'm getting ready to talk about Mr. Steele, because I gotta duck and dodge. But thank you, I appreciate that. So, child, when they were putting up these exhibits and they were showing that they had photographs of their driver's license, I don't know if people understood what the significance of the driver's license mean. That means that they had their names, their addresses, and if they moved, they could easily just do a search for this person through their driver's license. Ain't no way. I know that there are people out there that are pro Diddy, but when I tell you that the case is starting to go kaboom, okay? It's going kaboom. I'm sorry, it is. I don't know what's about to happen. Anyway, so they brought on the stand Derek Ferguson, all right? Now, Derek Ferguson, he was there under subpoena. He identified who Diddy was. He held 3 roles in Diddy's businesses, okay? One of those roles was his chief of finance, okay? And he was the chief of finance for Bad Boy Entertainment. Now, he says, as a CFO, he oversaw the finances of the business. Now, this is where it's going to get a little dull in court. And I really do not want to make myself too full because I'm definitely going to fall asleep. And baby, I don't know if I'm going to be snoring or not, okay? But Derek is bringing in, he's testifying to what he did. He did the budgeting. He did the inflow and the outflow of things. This is a little bit boring. The testimony, if you ask me, it's a little boring. But this is the financial stuff. It's going to get boring. They're asking Derek about all of Diddy's businesses. Before we went to lunch, they was bringing up bank accounts. Baby, they pulled up a bank account in Janice Combs' name. And they said that bank account, that business, was for his image and likeness. So anytime somebody wanted to use his image and his likeness, they paid that bank account. I don't know. Now, Derek also claims that while he was the CFO there, that there wasn't no funny business that was going on, that they did have cash, that they would keep around. The cash was to pay like the artists when they would go out and they would perform, they would get paid in cash. But we're getting into the finances, you guys. Up. Listen, the Rockefeller camp, they got their own ish that they need to be worrying about, okay? I ain't bring that to y'all yet, but I know y'all done seen it around. No problem. Thank you, Miss Tammy, for being here. Baby, when I tell you, I absolutely can talk about the case while it's ongoing. No, I understand, Rebecca. I absolutely can talk about it while it's ongoing. I'm not anybody that's involved in the case. I would be considered like grassroots media, like independent media. I want to know what they put those bribes under in that paperwork, girl. I want to know too. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, I'm not a juror. I'm not a juror. I'm not a paralegal. I'm not the stenographer. I'm not even a bailiff in the courtroom, honey. Cashapp to buy you lunch. Oh, thank you. It's Jupiter Juju 8. Uniquely, can you type it so that I can pin it in the chat? Rakitha, we are about to see how much of these finances, how deep does Janice's name run in these finances, honey? Well, this is about trafficking. This is about money. This is about abuse. This is, thank you so much for the Cash App. This is about abuse, physical, mental, emotional. This is about abuse of power. This is about coercion. This is about infiltrating and the infiltration and the destruction of a business, a company, a brand, a CEO, an entrepreneur. I can't speak to tax evasion because I haven't heard tax evasion come out. I haven't heard anything about tax evasion. So I can't speak to that. But you guys, it's a lot that's going on in this case. And a lot of this stuff is boiling down to the 35 predicate offenses of a felon, of a RICO. Coercion involves anything that is bribing another person. If you use your legitimate money, prime example, they coerced the security guard Garcia into deleting the video off the server and giving them the only copy. And he used $100,000 to do so. And he tied his business into it through the NDAs. I doubt he even got that, Coco, because he had to split that with other people. I agree with you, Rob. I 100% agree with you, Rob. And this is what I'm saying when it comes down to this Diddy case. Domestic violence is not just man and woman that are husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. This would be considered domestic violence as well. And it seems like to me, all of these people had something in common. You want to know what I see all of these people having in common? They all had a dream and wanted to work in the music industry. That's very, very obvious, okay? But they all had a sense of wanting to belong. They had a sense of wanting to belong. And when you could sense that somebody wants to belong, it's easy to manipulate them. What you saying? There's no crime. It's that. It's all. It's DV. That's all. They making an example of him. Uh, Killer Rob. That's absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true. Killer Rob. Let me ask you something. What are one of the predicate offenses of a RICO? What are the predicate offenses of a RICO? Give me one predicate offense of a RICO. Uniquely, don't zap them out. Well, there was a copy. You know who had the copy? Israel Flores had the copy. I am patient because I'm trying to see. Hell yeah, they had a hard copy. Anthony Ray, I know that he's a black man, but again, what does that have to do with one of the 35 predicate offenses of a RICO? What are the 35 predicate offenses? So since you guys don't know, I will gladly educate y'all. I will take my time to educate people who do not know. Okay? So if y'all are ready, I'm going to give it to y'all again. Some of my people should know this already. 35 predicate offenses of RICO. At the top, at the tippy top of the list is murder. Physical abuse is also in there, but it's used in coercion, transportation for illicit acts, dealing in obscene manners, bribery, witness tampering, obstruction of justice. Let's break them all down because that's what I'm just telling you off the top of my head. But now I'm going to give them to y'all because I have done this already multiple times. Unaliving, kidnapping, gambling offenses, arson, robbery, bribery, extortion, dealing in obscene manner, dealing in controlled substances, drug trafficking, counterfeiting, theft from interstate shipment, embezzlement from pension and welfare funds, mail fraud, wire fraud, financial institution fraud, obstruction of justice, obstruction of a criminal investigation, witness tampering, retaliating against a witness or informant, trafficking in stolen property, interference of commerce by threat or violence, the Hobbs Act. The Hobbs Act is a RICO offense, okay? Money laundering, bankruptcy fraud, securities, false statements relating to federal health care offenses, human trafficking, involuntary servitude, immigration offenses involving slavery or traffic, violent crimes in aid of racketeering. They established the organization today, Killer Rob. You must have just got here. Diddy used a Combs Enterprise NDA in connection with the $100,000 bribe that he, or the $100,000 that he paid the security guard for a copy, or for what he thought was the only copy of the video of the Intercontinental incident. That brings his businesses into it. And now we are hearing about his finances because his CFO, chief of financial, is on the stand right now as we speak. He just got on the stand. So at the end of the day, it's not being used illegally. Have you looked it up? Listen, Killer Rob, are you here at the court? Using your employees in the commission of acts establishes enterprise. The fact that KK had those, so I want you to come up to me and talk to me, Killer Rob. I want you to come talk to me. I'm about to head down this block and go up there to the courthouse in a few minutes. After I finish my update, I'm going to head up to the block. I want you to come and talk to me because I want you to help me understand how you can say that out of all of what I said, you chose to say arson is hearsay. It's not hearsay. It actually is something that happened. It's actually something that happened. And the fact that there was a bad boy vehicle at the break-in of his home, that's fine. He claims that he's here at the courthouse. I want to see. I want him to walk up to me and have a conversation with me. Because KK, who is somebody who has been established as being a person who is around Diddy, who works for Diddy, and she has photographs of the NDA in her phone. She has the security guards' driver's licenses in her phone. She's making the phone call to the security guards that are actually out there at the Intercontinental Hotel. She has their driver's licenses in her phone. And this man is testifying that KK reached out to him, that KK was present when the $100,000 was paid to him. That's bribery. That's obstruction of justice. That's 2 predicate acts right there. That establishes the enterprise because everybody is working at the greater good to protect the enterprise and the entity that is Diddy. Now, if you choose not to see that, you choose not to see that. But see, I'm not going off of rumor and speculation, and I'm also not going off of twisted narratives because as you just saw, I brought it back to the charges. I'm showing y'all how they're establishing this RICO. What do you mean when things go bad, nobody wants to be holding a bag? Things have been bad. Things have been bad. What are we saying here, Rob? The reason why I said when I get to the courthouse is because there's nothing but federal marshals all around that building. And if I have to take an Uber from the building to where I'm going, I will. Acts of terrorism, immigration-related offenses involving racketeering activity, those were the federal predicate offenses. Well, that's not, well, where are you at? You're at 27? Yeah, immigration is one of them, but that's not what we're talking about. The violent crimes in aid of racketeering is in there. He just wants a platform and he disregard the Astro Boot keyboard thug warrior. No, I'm telling my people, if anybody does get crazy with me, I'll jump in an Uber and head back to where I'm heading back to. I'm not trying to physically fight with you. I'm just saying, like, I'm breaking down what it is. Even when it comes down to the stuff that is going on with Cassie, a pattern requires at least 2 offenses within 10 years, excluding prison time, okay? And the crimes must be related and show continuity, which all of these crimes have been acts of violence. Acts of violence. Acts of violence. That's what we've been hearing. Obscene matters deal with the freak offs. That's why we've been hearing so much about these freak offs, because it is proving the obscene matters. That is not something that I made up and pulled out of my behind. That is something that is actually a predicate offense, you guys. Crossing state line with paid sex workers, yes. But not only that, moving Cassie around to engage in prostitution, paying for these escorts, that's also trafficking. That's human trafficking, that's sex trafficking. The Cassie tape, now one love, the Cassie tape that was given to CNN, that tape was altered. But there is an unedited version. It's about 6 minutes long and it shows you everything. It still shows Cassie going up the hallway and Diddy coming behind her. It shows Cassie standing with her back turned to him at the elevator and him punching her, kicking her, and attempting to drag her. Regardless, all they did was cut out the extras. That's all they did. But everything that happened in that edited tape is still the same tape that happened. It's still the chain of events that happened. They even showed us different camera angles as well. Killer Rob, is that you blowing the whistle in the background? Is you whistling in my background, sir? Don't be whistling. Don't be whistling. That's a crossing guard that is actually blowing the whistle. I do, because I don't like a lot of repetitive noise. Like, I can't take it. Oh, Vernon, you gonna be cool today? That's what you was just asked. Is you gonna be cool? Is you cool or not, cuz? Now, Shaniqua, that's a conversation that I don't think the peoples is ready for. But you feel me? I am gonna say this. What are you talking about? What am I showing, Ant Dog? It sounds like it, right? It sounds like I'm up at somebody's schoolhouse. Schoolhouse, outhouse. Highways and byways. They call it Nut Bush. Oh, Nut Bush. They call it Nut Bush City living. Killer Rob, understand me, honey. Understand me, sweetheart. I understand. Let me be honest with you. I would rather see Diddy go to some type of rehab and be rehabilitated than to be sitting up in somebody's MDC prison. Diddy needs help. Okay? And I often ask this question, who taught Diddy this behavior? Because this was a learned behavior. Understand that. Thank you, One Love. Now you sounding like Mr. Sag talking about my Henny Henny fans up in here now. Listen. I'm late going back to the court, y'all. I'm probably missing key testimony at the moment. But I needed to put something on my stomach and decompress. Oh, the whole industry as a whole. It doesn't matter. It could be jazz, country music, hip hop, R&B, rap music, trap music. It don't matter. All of it. There's some form of corruption that is going on, and there's bigger players at play here, people. But that's another lie for another time. Hey, Christina, I'm doing good. Travel safe. You are amazing. I'm heading back to the court. He is not the only one. People, unfortunately, getting abused and DV for the beginning of time. I'm not debating that fact with you. I'm not debating that fact with you. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people are saying that DV is not a crime. It is a crime, but that's not what they're showing here. They're showing acts of violence. Y'all have to look up those 35 predicate offenses of a RICO. Y'all have to, in order to understand what they are showing. Otherwise, you're going to get bamboozled and hoodwinked by the defense. And that's what the defense is supposed to do. The defense is doing their job. Now, I did not like the way Brian Steele handled Mia. I didn't like it. I felt like for her to be an alleged victim of all types of abuse, he did not handle her correctly, but Brian Steele did his job. I'm not mad at him. Do your job. I also feel like the defense should not have used him against Mia. That was not a good look. He was long-winded. He was drawing things out. He was talking too much about the same thing instead of moving on. He was not closing the loop. He would ask a question and not do a follow-up question on it because he was too caught up on getting that one question out. His job, in all honesty, is to create doubt, reasonable doubt. That is what the defense is supposed to be doing right here. This is why they're poking and chipping away at people's credibility. But when they had key witnesses up on that stand, they dropped the ball sometimes. I have to say that because I was looking for the defense. When it came down to this guy, Eddie Garcia, they admitted to paying double what the guy was looking for. They admitted to paying double. Okay? They brought out the Combs Enterprise document. The defense brought that document up. Not the government. The defense brought the document up. They presented the enterprise to us. No, it did not get rejected. As far as I know, Mia's testimony has not been rejected. Whew. But I also know that there's some other things at play here. And I'm not going to get too deep, and I keep telling y'all that. But there are people out here that have been compromised to sway their view, that are out here pushing narratives that are being fed to them. There's a person that is in contact and communication with bloggers and content creators. It's a lot of nasty work going on down here. I ate too much. Whew. Now this guy, Eddie Garcia, he is the one who was saying that, he was not going to come in and testify until he was given immunity. That's what he said. He got his immunity, and now he came in and he testified. There are a lot of content creators outside right now that are not upstairs. And I know why that is, because this financial stuff, it's a little long, it's a little boring, it's a little tedious, it's mentally strenuous because it's finances. But I promise you that they're building something. So I'm gonna head up in a little while to go upstairs and give y'all content from upstairs, from what's going on inside of the courtroom. I'm just trying to mentally psych myself up because this financial part is where it starts getting boring. Indiana Uda out here.
Indiana Uda out here. You already know that. We outside.
He's on go. He's on go 420 on speed. You know what? If you are supposed to be helping, please tell your solution or leave his ass in there. My solution to all of this is rehabilitation on multiple levels. Mental health, substance abuse, all of that. Diddy needs to be restructured and reprogrammed because he's been programmed. But who taught Diddy this behavior? That's the $1 million question right there. Who taught him this? But anyway, the crazy lady was here earlier. She's the one who had the outburst. Her name is Candor. She's the one who had the outburst in the main court and told Diddy that they was coming to get him. But anyway, let me go ahead and let me go inside. It's your girl Henny. I'll be back out to pour up plenty of those court doc shots that y'all are here to sip on. Thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in. I appreciate the super chats and all of the rubies. I appreciate all the likes, the comments, and most of all, I appreciate all of you. I'll see y'all in a few. Peace, everybody.